Well, welcome. Hello. And I have sound. Hello, everyone. Good Sunday evening to everybody. How are you guys doing today? Welcome to episode 2 of the Sunday Soul podcast. I'm just going to say hello to the live audience. We are live on YouTube and on Facebook. And if you hear some tapping in the background, that would be the latest addition to the household, which is Apollo the pit bull. Gemini and Virgo, the kittens, have not decided whether or not they like Apollo yet. So we'll let you all know and keep you posted. I want to say hello to everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. And I'm going to bring on my next guest, or this guest for this week. Most of you already know who this person is, but if you don't know, this is Chris Reck of Minnow Pond Tarot and his newest channel, Chris Reck. Let's bring him into the studio. Hello there, Chris.
Hey there, Lisa. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm well. You're looking well.
Thank you.
Go. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, happy Sunday. Right. I thought it was Monday.
Don't wish that here too soon, okay?
Please.
For a few more hours. Well, Chris, I'm so glad that you are on the show today. And, this initial series for the Sunday Soul podcast is all about becoming a light worker. And I, been reaching out to various channels and light workers, and I'm so excited for you to share your story. So why don't you tell the folks that'll be listening to this later a little bit about Minnow Pond Tarot, just kind of your channel, a little bit overview, and then a little bit, we'll get into it more, but a little bit about your second channel as well.
Sure. Minnow Pond, I started about 5 years ago, or maybe 6 years ago. I actually don't remember now. I started reading these right here, just playing cards, old-fashioned playing cards. And I started that channel mostly because I had lost a business, and I kind of actually let the business die. And I was doing nothing for about 2 years, 3 years. And I had a really bad skin condition on my hands. And my mom was like, one day just said, hey, why don't you read cards? There's probably energy in your hands that's trying to come out. And so that started my journey. I actually also got attuned in Reiki before that for my hands, because my mom thought that it was, again, energy trying to come out. But so that day I started Minnow Pond, and the rest is history, I guess, at this point.
Well, okay. So that was a whole lot in about 2 minutes. So
Yeah,
we're going to have to go in and unpack now. Okay. So 5 years ago, what were you doing before you were doing nothing? What were you doing then?
I was in marketing, and so I was doing copywriting, and I was doing a lot of things. I'm a Gemini moon. I do like a billion things. I like doing a lot of stuff, and so I was doing mostly copywriting, but I was working in the marketing industry, doing lead generation. I was working on products, pretty much anything I could get my hands in before that.
Well, that's interesting. And let me just ask you this too. How do you, and then we're going to get into this a little bit more, but how do you feel that what you were doing before, even though it wasn't fulfilling and it wasn't your ultimate purpose, how do you feel that has translated? Has it assisted you in Minnow Pond Tarot and then the rest of your light work and your purpose? Or what do you think about that?
I think kind of like both ways. It's kind of funny because when I started Minnow Pond Tarot, I wasn't using like any of my marketing skills for like my titles on my videos or anything like that. I was almost I don't want to say I was like ashamed of it, but it was I kind of just wanted to get away from it in a lot of ways. I think that in the marketing world, I mean, I love the marketing world. I still love marketing and everything like that, but there are some, what I would say questionable tactics that are used. And so I kind of like shied away from it for the longest time. But recently, over the past like couple of years, I've started kind of getting back into it and using it because, again, it can be used for good as well. I think that's one of the changes that I've made over the past few years with myself, is kind of realizing that, things that could be used for bad aren't, and I don't even think it's bad. I just think, some of it's questionable, but some of those things can be used for good as well.
That is something that I find interesting. I think as we go further along in the awakening, ascension, because we're always growing, right? There's
Right.
this a real process that continues on. But as we go further in that process, I find that what we may have labeled as bad, we find that it is neither bad nor good. It depends upon the application of that energy and that information. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I even think of, the other interesting thing I find is like I've worked with people, I still have worked with people doing marketing even since I've kind of moved away from it. And, I see that I think there is a change going on. Number one, right now with the people who are doing the marketing nowadays, like there is a change. People are doing things more legitimately and people are creating like better products and things like that that are legitimate. But I also think that sometimes, like some of those things, I would think was bad. It reminds me of a story from Zig Ziglar, one of my favorite people of all time. And I'll tell a short story if you want me to. But it's basically about him selling a product to somebody, and in the end, he didn't sell the product to the people because he was afraid that it was going to be bad for them. But then he found out later that they were really mad that he didn't sell it to them because they actually really wanted it. And so it's kind of like we shouldn't be projecting our perception of like what we think a product is or something like that is to someone else. It might actually be very good for them.
That's deep. I don't think and I've read a lot of Zig Ziglar's
Yeah, yeah.
books. So you can't be in, so I've been in sales and marketing for a very, very long time as well during the day job and things like that. So you can't actually be any decent like type of salesperson or marketing and
Well, of
not have
course.
read or heard. Like if you haven't, then what are you doing? But I don't think I've ever heard that. That is a very interesting concept that people then were upset because he didn't sell them the product.
Yeah.
How could you I'm thinking in my mind how I would translate this, right? To
Yep.
what we do. Because we get, at least for me, coming from a very religious background, I'm kind of jealous that your mom was like, "Hey, I think this energy coming out of your hand. Why don't you do something with that and get yourself together?" But sometimes we feel either ashamed of, or we feel like if we put ourselves too far out there or whatever the case is, people are not going to want to even be bothered with us. And I think sometimes some of us feel bad about allowing our purpose to provide for us when people actually want to. So tell me how you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about that kind of concept?
Well, yeah, and one thing I think about that story is what he was selling was a bunch of pots and pans to this family, and he says he tells a story that they had the money to buy an outhouse or these pots and pans, and so they really wanted the pots and pans. They didn't. He tells a story that they had been saving for this outhouse for a really long time. What I think it is it's like in a lot of ways maybe those people didn't realize it, maybe he didn't realize it, but it's like you're denying someone abundance. Money is just paper, and it's like they actually just want paper is pretty much worthless. They actually wanted something of value, and so he was kind of denying their something of value that they maybe would have valued more than the outhouse, believe it or not.
That is, and who are we to decide? I always used to say when I was training salespeople that people buy what they desire,
Yeah, of course.
what they value. So if someone places a value on the pots and pans more so than the outhouse, who are we to not sell the pots and pans? And
Exactly.
and in actuality, I feel like we're actually denying them either their blessing, or we're denying them like some messages that need to get to them because we're just deciding that we're going to be the stopgap for that, right? And that's what I love about your channel. Talk a little bit about how the channel has evolved over 5 years and kind of where spirit has you. Like, I really want to get into this, you developing as a light worker.
Yeah, so like I said, I started reading playing cards. I have like a million playing card decks around me, and for whatever reason, I started collecting these. That's why I started reading with playing cards.
Wow.
So I would say that's probably for like the first 3 years or so. I read only playing cards exclusively. I always had tarot decks before that, and I always messed around with tarot decks. But
Yeah.
then I wanted the channel to grow, and so it wasn't really growing with the playing cards. People love when I read the playing cards, but just not as popular as tarot. And so then I added tarot, and now I've added Lenormand, which I learned Lenormand before I even learned playing cards and tarot. And so I added that in now as well, and oracle cards, of course. And then I always add in Chris's crappy astrology as well, I call it. So I add in astrology on top of that.
I don't think astrology is crappy. Are we getting any echo, guys? I just want to be sure we're not echoing, so I don't have to keep muting my mic. Are we good? Chris, are you good on your end? You're not hearing anything?
I'm good. Yeah,
Okay,
I don't hear any echo or anything.
good. Then I have to keep muting my mic because it's getting like irritating. Okay, wait. So let me get this straight. First of all, your astrology is not crappy. Okay. I have been privy to some of it, and I'm not necessarily, I'm no like astrologer, whatever, but I can hold my own. So you're doing very well.
Thank you.
Because really, astrology is everything is energy. I think that's like what we're coming to this place where the tarotist is beginning to understand that we need to also understand astrology. We need to understand ancient religions. We need to understand crystals. We need to be hopefully Reiki masters, or at least Reiki attuned level 1, because it's all the same thing. Spirit is spirit. It's just different expressions. So you'll have to teach me Lenormand. I have a Lenormand deck.
Right.
I've tried, but I'm just like, I can't. Of the 50 decks I have now, that's one of the ones I don't use. But what I find great about your channel, and you can talk a little bit about too, how this has evolved over the years. So you started with the playing cards, which I find fascinating because you do that every once in a while as well.
Right.
But developing your way of delivering messages from spirit. I'm sure you didn't just appear one day as Minnow Pond, the Chris Reck that you are today. How did that, let's kind of get back to, you started reading because you had the eczema on your hand. So talk to me about how this energy morphed and changed and evolved.
Yeah, I think, in the beginning I was really stiff, and again, reading the playing cards, I was getting very like attached to the meanings of every single card in the deck, and I was only delivering the meanings. But then I started just I call it, well, it's going to sound really weird, but I call it spewing. And I guess most people call it channeling. And so then what I started doing is I just started removing myself from the readings and started channeling from source, and I just say whatever comes out of my mouth. And it's very hard to describe, but I just don't think about the words that are leaving my mouth when I'm reading. And that's kind of how I do it now.
Yes, that is a concept that differentiates just the tarotist,
right,
from what I would say the light worker is, or from the spirit led, right? When you learn to tap into your intuition, and you're really just connecting with your higher self. You're allowing your higher self to your spirit led to lead you and literally take over your tongue and just get yourself out of the way. I think Reiki actually, I don't know when you got attuned, but I feel like Reiki helps.
Yeah, I think that's really what helped the most. Is Reiki, learning to just like channel energy through your body and then out.
Yes, exactly. Without interfering.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. I think that is something that anyone that wants to get into this at any level needs to really go ahead on and really consider, is doing that, becoming Reiki attuned. It really does attune you to the frequency of the universe, or universal life force.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So then you picked up the tarot because you weren't going to get a lot of traction although it's fascinating, reading the playing cards.
Right.
When did you discover astrology? That's interesting.
You know what? My grandmother actually, when I think I must have been, I don't even know. I think I was probably 4 years old or so. She actually told me I was an Aquarius. I'm a Pisces, but she told me I am an early Pisces. I will give her that. But
Okay.
she told me I was an Aquarius, and that was like my first introduction. And then I think that like is part of the spark, because I mean I've been learning astrology, and like I've always been fascinated with astrology even before the cards. You know, that was like my
Yeah.
first thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, for a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I didn't even at first. I was like, whatever. And I always thought about my horoscope, right? But now that I really come to understand it, it's not that it rules you, but now you understand, like, with the craziness that's going on in this world right now.
Right. Yeah.
If you understand Mars in retrograde in Aries, squaring Saturn
Yep.
and Pluto basically in Capricorn, and here comes
Yep.
Jupiter, like, to join the party again. It's like, okay, I get it. Like, it's all going crazy right now for some, real reasons. Well,
Yeah, of course.
so it definitely, I think, gives, for me at least, I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like it gives us a better, a lot deeper understanding, even when we're reading the cards. So we're channeling, but we have this wisdom, this knowledge in the back of our mind.
Yeah, yeah, I think it definitely helps. And yeah, I think it helps people as well. Like helps them navigate through these crazy, wild times that we're in right now.
Yes, yes, identifying that energy. So here we are, Minnow Pond Tarot today. And you go live every day, is it? You go live every day?
I go live every single day now.
Cheese and rice. Okay, God bless you.
Yeah.
So you go live every single day, and then I noticed that you also, when I wake up in the morning, I'm in Central Time Zone.
Oh, right.
Usually, shortly after I wake up, there's at least 3 zodiac signs that have dropped as pre-recorded content. What does
Yeah.
a day look like for you? Like, how do you manage all this?
Well, I mean, I have a ton of Capricorn in my chart, so I love to work, number one, and so that helps. But I just can't sit still in the first place. You know, I have like ADD also, so it's like I need to always be doing something. So that helps. But my days are pretty easy actually. I do at least I just have a routine. Basically, I do 3 videos every single day, no matter what. So I'm actually a few days like I'm ahead in my readings. And then I always go live every single day as well. But some days I do 4 readings, some days I do 6. Like it depends on how I'm feeling. Because I know, and trust me, there are days I take off doing my 3 readings. Some days I just don't feel right, so I just take the day off and I just don't do it.
No, I understand that. I understand that. And also, I noticed, so when you go live, for those that are going to hear this and see this later, you also actually are one of the few channels that still do personals live.
Live, yeah.
Talk to me about that. Why do you do your personals live?
I don't even know I don't even remember how it started, because I just started going live like 2 or 3 years ago now.
Okay.
And then somebody was like, "Oh, I want to ask a question." And I was like, "Okay, just, do the super chat or whatever." And then a bunch of people kept doing it, so I just kept doing it. And so I kind of fell into the whole super chat answering live thing, but it works out. I think it's a great way. I don't really have the time to do personals in the first place, so it really helps with that, because people want personals. But I think it's like a great way to get kind of a personal reading without getting a full personal reading.
Right.
Yeah.
If you could have, because we're going to take a break here in just a minute,
Sure.
and then we're going to come back and talk about your second channel. I really want to get into, because that's your next evolution,
Right.
and that is fascinating to me. But from a tarot channel perspective,
Yeah.
if you could do 1 or 2 things differently 5
Right.
years ago, 6
Yeah.
years ago, knowing then what you know now, what would you do different?
I think I would have, number one, I would have taken it more seriously. When I started, there were no channels that had like more than 10,000 subs.
Oh,
And so like, I was like, when I hit 10,000 subs, I was like, whoa, I can't believe I even, that was even possible. Now there are people, secret, people like that have, almost 500,000 now. So it's crazy. But I would have taken it more seriously. I think I would have gone longer as well. I was doing short messages. I speak Gemini moon, so I speak fast. I like get my messages out fast as
yeah.
well. But I would have just slowed it down. I think I would have taken my time and just done short, like longer readings because I was doing like 5-minute messages real quick in the beginning.
Wow, that's good
Yeah.
advice. Like allow yourself to kind of
Yeah. Just kind of breathe into
move,
it. Yeah.
right? And I think that also helps you learn, right? Because reading, although it is intuitive, like I never picked up a card deck till 2 years ago.
Right.
Never. But I had moved in the prophetic in the church for
Right.
many, many years. So there's a there's the intuitive part to it. But there is the part where you do have to learn at least the cursory, the surface level meanings of the cards. Otherwise, it's just willy nilly. So there is a learning of your craft. I think that the longer you read and the more you read comes.
I would say that would be the other thing that I would do. That would be like the third thing I would do is that, it's only been in the last few years. I always have a book here before I go live, I like to sit here for like 15 minutes. I just read the book and I always like cycle through books, always like updating the meanings. I don't really use tarot meanings because again, I channel, but I do feel like having the meanings like just in your head, it gives you, number one, confidence. Number two, it can give you some idea of like what the direction of the reading sometimes. So I'm always like, even if it's just 15 minutes a day, I'm always looking at a book. I'm always looking over a new meaning of a card or something like that, always kind of digging into it.
Okay, so you all heard it here. You got the tea here. Okay. Even Minnow Pond Tarot still checks the books and reads the book.
Always.
Like even he still does. I do the same thing. Okay.
Yeah,
So
always.
don't feel like you got to remember because you'll never know
It's
everything.
yeah.
There's so many meanings. It's so many different layers and so many different situations that you can interpret a card. So don't ever feel like you should ever stop learning.
Yeah,
So
never.
yeah. So he just dropped that T right here. That was an excuse right here. Okay,
There you go.
we're gonna take a quick 1 minute break. Chris, I'm gonna take you off of the screen here for a second. So guys, we're gonna take a quick minute break. I am going to share a quick video here. We are having my Be the Light conference. It's over here in this corner. And so watch this video. The conference is coming up. It's actually coming up pretty quickly, guys. So just watch this 1 minute promo. And if you want some more information, go to heartofinspiration.net or some of my lovely mods can give you this information. So here we go. All right, we are back. All right, let's bring Chris back. Thank you. Okay, gave us a chance at least to get some water.
Of course.
Okay. Again, I want to thank everybody. I am gonna try to put up some of these comments here as we go forward. I want to talk about because again, this to me becoming a light worker is not just starting a YouTube channel. It's or launching your website or anything like that. It's really when you're doing the work, and it is literally an evolutionary process. So that actually, your evolutionary process is actually what drove me to contact you, because I was on one of your lives, and then one of your mods mentioned your second channel, Chris Rack. And I started watching those videos, and I thought, wow, you have a lot to give. So, talk to us about why the second channel. How long has the second channel been here? Can you talk to us a little bit about Chris Rack, the second channel?
Yeah, sure. I started the second channel probably actually almost 2 years ago now, but it just sat there for like a year. I didn't do anything. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it exactly at the time, and then slowly, but I've been adding videos about law of attraction, and really, I want to just show people that they can make a dent in the universe. That is my kind of mission statement for the channel. I haven't even changed it on the channel yet, but that is like my kind of main focus that I've come up with over the past few months, and that's what the main focus is going to be from like here on out for the channel. So I won't be just doing law of attraction, but anything that will help people move forward in their life, and anything that will help them make a dent in the universe, whatever that means for them. I make a joke on my channel all the time about people. I always say, I don't care if you want to start a worm farm. I don't care if that's what it is. It is possible. You could start a worm farm and you could be very successful. There's a guy on YouTube who just does videos about worm farming, and he is probably very successful. So, it's possible, and I want to show people that it is possible.
Wow. And you can show people even in your own life. So I know we kind of keep going back to that, but I think it's very significant. So you were in marketing, you were successful, and then all of a sudden you were like, I can't do this anymore. And you didn't do anything for 2 years. During
Yeah.
those 2 years though, Chris, what were those 2 years like for you? Because I think
Um,
that's even Chris Rack now, the second channel.
those 2 years were not great. And I sat basically in my room. I did nothing. And I was I wouldn't say I was depressed. I've never been a depressed person. I've never been easily depressed or get down. I know I'm ridiculously positive, and probably to a fault. So I wasn't depressed, but I was definitely, I definitely wanted things to be different. I have always had a million business ideas. So I was trying a lot of things and nothing was working. It was very frustrating. I remember even once I started getting into real estate investing, and I couldn't really afford to mail out these mailers to these people who had houses, and I hand wrote like over 1,000 letters, and so I sent these letters out, and nothing happened. Basically, nothing happened from those 1,000 letters that I sent. Oh, it was over 1,000. It was a ridiculous amount of letters, and nothing happened. And so I was like, I'm a hustler, and so that was a little bit depressing. But I've had many, many moments like that, and those are some of the stories that I want to share on the new channel, because again, I've been it's longer than that 2 years that I've had so many like what I would call frustrating experiences. But
Mhm.
like now, of course, I'm very, very grateful for those experiences. But like I said, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Trust me.
Right, right. And I think that's the thing that I'm, I say to people so often is you don't know what it took for any of us to get where we're at. People can look at what either you or I are where we're at right now and be like, oh
Right.
my gosh, no, you have no idea what the struggle was, but we stuck in the game. And that's the thing, like what I love about the channel now, and I'm super excited to see where it's going to go because it's from a very authentic place, right?
Right.
And I'm pleased to know you're a Pisces. Hey, Trine. So really, you went into a 2 year Piscean deep dive. Like that's what
Right.
I call it when you all go like deep
Deep.
and
Yeah.
finding Nemo with you, and we try to find you.
That's
But
exactly what it was.
it takes a while to come back up to the surface, but when you do, it's well worth it. But what I love about your channel is you're talking about law of attraction from a very different perspective to me, in that you are really incorporating energy, right? And us manipulating and us co-creating. I want you to talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about how you view the law of attraction. How do you view about this energetic, like our creative abilities?
Yeah, I kind of view it in multiple ways, but one is definitely energy. One of my favorite people of all time, Greg Braden, he says he talks about probably one of the most important things I think with the law of attraction is he says there's this ancient lost book of Thomas from the Bible, and in this lost book it says when the heart and the head become one, that's when you manifest, things. That's when you say mountain move away, and it moves away. And so he talks about how this was taken out of the Bible actually, and how powerful that making the two things one is. I don't think, again, I don't claim to be an expert on this. I don't even think I've perfected how to even make the connection between your heart and your head, the two
Mm,
things. Sometimes I think I'm a little, me personally, I think it's hard for people who are more like Gemini moon, logical, Aquarius rising, logical, so it's like hard to make that heart connection maybe sometimes for people like me, but that's what I'm trying to figure out. So,
mm,
I think through meditation and things like that, that's possible. So
mhm.
that's how I feel about the energetic part. What am I missing here?
So the co-creation, I guess for me, so I'm a Cancer, right? So we've
Oh,
just
right.
determined that I'm a Cancer Sun, Aries Moon, Cap Rising, but I have just super stellium in my seventh, where my Sun is.
Got
So
it.
for me, everything is energy, and it's very easy for me to put the heart and the head together. Like
Right.
that, like, okay, that makes perfect sense. So when I hear somebody talk about energy, I go back to my like scientific mind and say, yeah, that's exactly how it works. And then I bring it back forward heart wise to us being like a co-creator. To me, you are one of the people that I say is the epitome of a co-creator. You chose to create your own world, and that, so how, that's what I'm getting from, maybe I'm going deeper, I don't
No,
know.
that makes No, that makes perfect sense. I think of what popped into my head when you said that is Esther Hicks. She talks about people who think about the pie. She calls it the abundance pie or whatever. And she says when you're creating abundance, you're not taking from that pie and making it smaller. You're adding to the pie, making it bigger for everyone else.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I definitely look at it like that. I think of being it's one of the things like I don't want to be a teacher. I rather be an example. So that's why I'm doing this new channel as well, is to show
Mm,
people, like, I don't want to brag on the channel, but it's like at the same time, it's I always talk about my life has changed like so much over the past few years, and then even just in the past few months. I mean, it's
yeah,
been incredible. So I
yeah,
want to share that with people, and I want to show them that it's possible. Like I said,
yeah, yeah, and making a dent. Making
making a dent. Yeah,
a difference. I love that. I love that. You should brag about it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's
yeah,
nothing, because the other thing as light workers, and I'm sure you just actually you said it without saying it, right? You said, I don't want to brag about them.
right,
We as light workers, I feel once again, it's kind of like the Zig Ziglar responsibility, right?
right,
We have a responsibility to we're not being haughty with it. We're not like throwing it in somebody else's face and saying, you have this, I have this, you don't. But it is really about kind of, in church we would have testimony service.
right, right.
So everybody would get up and they would talk about what God did for them during this past week. And it wasn't that they were bragging. It was, I'm listening to these people get these miracles, or even what they perceive as miracles. And I'm just like, it's not that big of a deal. But it was huge to them. And it's a faith builder, if you will. And so to me, when we talk about these things, we're building other people's faith, right? We
Yeah.
need to brag. We need to talk about it, because the people have to know it's real and it's there.
Yeah, and that adds, I think when you do that as well, it adds a lot of power to it when you have other people cheering you on. I'm a huge fan of that. I'm a huge fan of anything like testimony and any of that stuff, because to me, just having other people who also can be happy for you, who can also be joyful for you, that just expands it even more.
Yes, yes.
So,
So,
yeah.
what's the goal for your site? So we know what Minnow Pond is doing, and you are like almost at you're close, getting close to that 200,000 mark, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm pretty close. I'm at 193, I think, as of right now. So,
You'll be there before you know it.
Yeah, before I know it, I'm sure.
That
Yeah.
is amazing. That's awesome.
Yep.
So, what's the goal then? I mean, for your second, like, where would you like to see that channel go? And I know that that's the second one, but I keep talking about that because I love to see us go deeper than
Well,
just the
yeah.
surface.
I'm not, it's funny because I've been toying with it. I've been playing around with the channel, and I haven't been really sure exactly what I want to do. Part of me was thinking about doing like a vloggy thing. I actually have some interviews as well because I was going to do a podcast, but I think I'm going to call it a vlogcast, and I'm going to insert people's knowledge throughout the vlog. So I don't know. I think I'm creating like a Frankenstein type of channel now, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, well, we'll see what your creation comes
Yeah,
out.
I have no clue what's gonna happen there.
Hopefully, you can still control it after it goes live.
I'm not sure what's gonna happen with that. Yeah.
That is really awesome. I think what I'd like to do, I'm just gonna kind of look and see if I've got any. If you guys have any questions, okay. If you guys have any questions, let's start. We can start putting them in here because we'll take just a few here. Knowing all of this, what you know, and that you're looking at things from an astrological point of view, you're reading tarot and reading collective energies, every day.
Right.
Is there anything that you feel like you would want to say to the collective?
Yeah, I think that like I said, in this crazy, crazy world, I think I was going to talk about this tonight actually in my live about because somebody was asking why all this stuff is happening, and because I think some people would say from a collective level, maybe this happened because like the whole virus situation and everything, because people didn't want to be around other people, and the whole money situation, because maybe people started fearing about money. But I feel like the good news is I feel like it's bringing us all back to a place where maybe we can be more grateful for each other. We'll actually appreciate being around people in the future, and I think it's going to be a good thing overall.
Yeah, I do too. It's always difficult. It's the darkest before the dawn.
Of course.
And when we're making large evolutionary steps, and which is really, as we're entering into this age of Aquarius,
right,
it really is an evolutionary step. It's stepping away from the messianic, religious boom, 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 and it's much more independent, much more greater good, much more everyone being a part of understanding our energetic place and space. So we could go there. Like we will be here another hour if we start going into interdimensional evolution. Okay, we're gonna leave that alone. Okay, so thank you. I am Wendy with an I. How does Chris stay so grounded though? What does he? What is he? What do you do basically to stay rooted in the spirit realm?
Number one, well, I mean, the only thing people always ask me, like, do I meditate and things like that? I don't really meditate. I go for a walk every single day, and that kind of is one thing that keeps me grounded. I also am really good about knowing, I do like a lot of alone time, and so I'm really good at. But I do like to socialize. I always say I'm an introverted extrovert. So when I socialize, I like to socialize, but I'm also really good at protecting my energy. So I know when I'm not supposed to be going out and doing things like that. So I've really tapped into myself over the years, and just I'm really good at listening to myself in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I can tell that you're very, what I call, self-partnered.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah. And I think that's another important one, being able to soothe yourself. I mean, I could go on and on and on about attachment styles and lessons that I've learned that have made me self-partnered. But definitely.
Yes, I agree. Okay. Ella says, hi, Chris. As a light worker, how do you deal with a difficult customer, and how do you reset your energy? That's a great question.
Yeah, so difficult customers. It's funny because I've worked at Starbucks. I don't know if I'm allowed to say Starbucks on here, but I worked at Starbucks for many years. I worked at coffee shops, everything like that. So I don't know. I've just experienced it so much. The other benefit to the channel as well, speaking of difficult people on the channel, is I had been doing video for a long time before that in the marketing world, and I experienced like a ton of criticism. So I just built up a thick skin. So really trial by fire. I know it's not a good answer, but that's what I would say there. And how to reset my energy. Again, like I said, for me, it's nature or plants. Everybody knows these are fake, but everybody knows I love plants and fish, of course. So anything having to do with fish usually is something that resets my energy.
Very good. Awesome. Haley, what does it mean to be born under an eclipse? Is that anything special?
Yeah, I would say an eclipse. I mean, to me, the eclipses really affect you. I mean, to me, technically, I would say we're all born under an eclipse because, within an eclipse is within 6 months. So, I mean, I think we're all born under an eclipse. I'm trying to think of things that I've seen with people I haven't had much experience with people born under eclipses. I like to equate it to personal experience. You can read about it in a book, but I think there's something different when you actually see someone's actual astrology and you're like, oh, this is what this has done to this person. I think one person that I knew that was born under eclipse did have problems with their parents. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have any input on that one?
I think it depends on what eclipse it is, when
Right.
it is. Like, is it a lunar eclipse? Is
Yeah.
it solar eclipse? A lunar eclipse can make you less in touch with your emotions. It
Right.
can make it, or it can make you, depending upon what sign it's in, it can also make you highly intuitive. So it really
Right.
is depending upon what sign it's in, and there's the other transits, because I think we only like really focus so much on the sun and the moon that we forget there's a bunch of other energies that are running around in our solar system that
Right.
really impact everything. So I would say it is significant, but I would have to know a lot more about that person's chart in order to be able to give an accurate statement.
Yeah, it would be interesting for sure.
Yeah, it would be. I find it's interesting when I see people with like 4 and 5 retrograde.
Yeah, the retrogrades. Yes.
I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We'll take a couple more here. I don't want to keep you all night. So creations from within, Trisha. And in regards to Reiki, do you have to learn how to do it or have it done to you?
Yeah, well, you have to be attuned by a Reiki master, so you have to have it done to you, technically.
Yes. Yes, you do. Which is part of the retreat. I'm attuning people. So
Oh, hey, there you go. If you want to get your attunement.
here we go. Which typically, I don't know about you, but this is like this is probably the second or third time I'll be doing this virtually. And it's only because I have to. Like, I had been like hardcore, like, we'll never do this virtually because that's just not the way it's done. You know what I mean? But I, if we believe energy is energy, then
I'll tell you what. I didn't know that someone was doing long distance Reiki on me once, and she told me she was going to do Reiki on me, and I had a really weird, really like challenging day, and
yeah,
she wrote me like 2 days later, and she's like, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I didn't tell you. You might have had like experienced some weird symptoms," and I totally did. Like 2 days. It was really weird. So
it
I
totally
think
works.
it totally works.
Yeah. And I do that all the time. Like, that's the only way I've ever done it is long distance.
Yeah, long distance, right?
Yeah. So it's just the first time of tuning people that way. So this would be interesting. I have to
Yeah. Yeah, let me know.
Okay, hang on here. Samantha, starting my own YouTube channel with tarot. Any advice for a starter?
I would say that, like I said, make sure to do the links. I would try to do something different. Everybody, of course, does love readings on YouTube. So I mean, I feel like nowadays it would be really important to stand out because I think it's going to be hard for new people coming in to stand out on YouTube. There's just so many readers, and trust me, I think there's plenty of abundance for all of them. I feel like there's a spot for all of them, of course. But I just think if you're trying to stand out, I would just try something different. Is what I'd say there. I don't like I do most mostly general readings. I think I'm probably again, not toot my own horn here, but I think I'm probably one of the biggest general readers on YouTube. So
I
it's definitely possible.
agree. Kiana Parks, Chris, could you name your top 3 favorite spiritual or slash astrology or tarot books?
Oh, my top 3. So, How to Become a Great Astrologer by James Braha's. I think his name's Braha or Brahma. I'm not exactly sure. Um, but How to Be a Great Astrologer, it's called. That's my favorite book. Then, can I pull up my Kindle?
Yes, please
Because
do.
I can tell you what some of my favorites that I'm reading right now are. And but How to Be a Great Astrologer is one of them for sure. And then let's see here. I always forget the name of this one tarot book that I love. And to me, it has very unique, it's called The Ultimate Guide to Tarot. I've recommended this book before, and it has just different kind of like meanings in it, and
Oh,
maybe things that you wouldn't normally think about as far as tarot is concerned. And then another good book, by the way, is 21 Ways to Read Tarot. I don't really use spreads because I read intuitively, but I think if you're trying to come up with a spread, or if you're trying to maybe try to gain structure in a reading, I think that is a really good book as well, for sure.
yeah, yeah, I like that. I don't do spreads either. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't do whatever the main one is to save my life.
Oh, Celtic Cross, like a
It gives me like anxiety.
anxiety.
Like I can't do this. I'm gonna break out in hives. Okay, and this will have let this be kind of the last question. Do you have any advice in regards to remembering the meaning of all the tarot cards other than practice?
Well, yeah, practice, but also I would find something that you identify with, like either it could be the numbers, the imagery, maybe there are certain things like the colors as well. I would pick like one thing that you identify with, the most, one thing that you think you could remember the most. The other thing is like some people remember the stories behind the cards more, or maybe the history. So I'd say, tarot, there's like a ton of stuff that goes into it: history, religion. You could find something that you're going to be interested in, and if you just focus on that, I feel like that would help you because you're going to be interested in it. So it's going to make it 10 times easier to learn.
And I also think getting a tarot deck, like I didn't start out with the Rider Waite, like the standard Rider Waite.
Right.
I started out with my Thelema. I don't know if you guys were able to see the cards, but
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
started out with my Thelema deck because a reader that I was watching at that time and I had gotten some personal readings from, that's what she used. And I resonated with them. Like I loved the pictures. I still do not own a standard Rider Waite.
there you go.
I can't do it. The other part to Molly's question is, can you practice on your own, like do your own readings? They've done several self readings.
The way I learned to read is that you're not allowed to read for yourself. So I personally do not read for myself, but I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with reading for yourself or practicing on yourself or whatever. But I just do not. And I think we put too much, me personally, knowing me, I just put too much of my, too much of my ego into the reading. So I just don't even bother.
That is crazy. I see someone told me, said, Sagittarius, if you want to put your question back up here so I can find it, please, and now we'll take yours, and that is it. Yeah, interesting. I have read for myself, but it's not successful.
Yeah, I can't do it.
It really isn't. It really, I have to go to my friends, and sometimes I can't even go to my friends. I have to go to a trust, like friends that are readers. I have to go to
yeah.
completely different, trusted reader.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just trying to wait, but hopefully I can get that question up. Wow. Oh, here we go. Do you have a favorite card?
Do I one favorite card? My favorite card is the Ace of Wands. So yeah, that's my favorite card. To me, the Ace of Wands, because it represents inspiration, and it's like that spark. I love that, the beginning stages of things. So I think that's why I like the Ace of Wands. So I would say the Ace of Wands is my favorite card.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, this has been so special.
Yeah,
Thank
this has been great.
so very much. I really, really do appreciate it. And I want to thank my moderators, the Secret Tarot and Conscious Evolution Journey is in here. And my other mods you guys are putting up. So find Chris on either Minnow Pond Tarot or Chris Rec, either channel. Those channel links are in the comments. They will be in the description box below as well. And thank you so much again, Chris. I can't wait to have you on a roundtable discussion together. This is going to be.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Thanks. You too. We're going to let Chris go. And guys, we're going to let you guys go. We are going to be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. I am keeping next week's guest, though, a mystery, because it's going to be a special event. We're going to be having an event on the podcast next week. So I want to wait until we can actually unveil it, but it is going to be epic, okay? I mean, everything already has been epic. Our first 2 episodes have been fantastic. And I'm sneezing. Oh my gosh. Okay. I could not, you never know what's going to happen on this show. All right. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you so very much. I so very much appreciate it. Don't forget to go to heartofinspiration.net. Check it out. Go register for the Be the Light conference. Okay. You only have to put like $50 down right now. Just have everything paid off by October 16th, October 23rd to the 25th. It is going to be an amazing time. Okay, this is a fabulous virtual retreat. You guys, if you want to talk about becoming a light worker, this is going to catapult you into the next level. I want to thank you guys, everyone, again. We really enjoyed everybody here. Thank you so very much. Peace, love, blessings, and joy be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, beautiful mods. Thank you, chat. I love each and every one of you. Namaste. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good night.